Hello everybody, Mike here at Wilton Auto and Tire Center. Here to talk about jump starting a car today. A big phrase that we hear all the time from customers, and if you do a Google search, is my car won't start. So one of the main reasons that a car won't start is because you have a dead battery. So what we're going to show you today is how to jump start a car properly and safely. Okay? A lot of people don't realize that when a battery is sulfated, what happens is it starts creating a hydrogen gas inside the battery. Okay? Hydrogen gas is highly explosive, and if you get a spark at the wrong point in time in an area where there's some of that hydrogen gas sitting, it's going to go kaboom. We have another YouTube video on a car that actually that happened to. You can check that out on our YouTube channel. Okay? For those of you that don't really know what hydrogen gas is, you may have heard of the Hindenburg. They filled the Hindenburg with hydrogen gas. Not quite sure why they would have done that, but it ran into a tower or something and exploded and it burned to the ground. So that's a great reference to understand what hydrogen gas is and can do. Okay? So a couple things we're going to do here. Set of jumper cables. Okay? So here we go. We got both ends. Why what is blue and not red? Don't ask me, it's just a pair we have lying around the shop. Now there are different qualities of jumper cables, and that's probably if you're gonna jump start a car, you want a good set of cables, okay? You have to pay a little bit more for them. The ones that you're gonna buy at $9.99 at an off-brand place, don't bother, because you're probably not gonna be able to jump start the car. There's a lot of resistance in those cables. The thicker the cable is, the higher the gauge, or the lower the gauge, right? It's good. This is an 8 gauge, you know, a 10 or a 12 is even thicker. You know, it depends on how much you're going to use it, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, and we're going to pretend that this battery here on the floor, right, is our donor vehicle. So in other words, this is your friend's car, right? So the first thing you want to do is look at, we have a negative terminal and a positive terminal, okay? So typically negative is black, and you kind of wiggle it a little bit to get a good connection. And then positive is going to be red, or in this case, blue. Again, we're going to make a good connection. Now, you see I've got over here, I'm holding these apart from each other. You don't want them to touch, because then you're going to complete the circuit and it's going to short it out, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is go to our dead battery car, okay? And as you can see, it's pretty clear here that positive is red. It says positive on there, and there's our terminal. But if you look deeper, maybe you can get in over here, right? It says it's marked on the battery. And then over on the negative side, I think we got to wipe some of the goo off of there. You can see the negative post says negative. It's hard to see, but trust me, it's there, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the positive post of the battery, and we're going to make sure this one's not touching anything metallic on the car. And it's getting harder and harder because they hide these things and stuff. But again, we want a nice connection, okay? And then we're going to look on the engine somewhere, try to find another ground, because we don't want to go on the negative battery, because that's where the potential hydrogen gas is. And when you make your last connection, there's always a spark, okay? Might be minimal, but nonetheless it's a spark. And what's going to happen if that hydrogen gas is pooled, sitting there, it's going to go kaboom. And it's really loud and it can hurt you bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for another spot, right, on the engine somewhere. Don't really want to go to the alternator, but this alternator bracket, and guess what? It says ground right there. I don't know if you can zoom in right to there. It says GRD. It's showing you that it's a ground. So what we're going to do, and see if, get a little close up here, because you might even see that spark when I make this connection. No, it didn't, okay? But we want to get on there, and because there's some corrosion on there, you want to wiggle it, right? And that's, again, when you're going to get that spark when you're making that connection. So now we've made our connection to the vehicle, to the dead car. We put our ground away from the battery, and now we can safely turn the key and start our car. Thanks for watching.